All right, beware when global leaders say everything is just fine. The IMF coming out earlier today to say that the issue of undercapitalized banks is overdone. I'm trivializing and oversimplifying here, but David Stockman has heard these kind of official reassurances before. We're hearing a lot of them again, just like we heard in 2008. A repeat?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we ever solved the problem in 2008. 2008 was just a warning sign that for 20 or 30 years, not only the United States, but most of the Western European democracies had been basically in a period of self-deception. They had been building this welfare state. They had been building this tax burden. They had been building all of this crony capitalism where there was so much intervention in the economy, so much at stake in the political process that it became difficult to govern. And every time the economy went into a temporary recession, there was another big round of Keynesian stimulus, tax cutting.
But it always allowed us to kick the can down the road.
And we kicked the can down the road, but I think now we're at the end of that road in terms
David,
of
they always
welfare
say
state
that.
socialism.
I hear you, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I'm always saying that every time I say we can't kick the can down the road, 5 years ago, you can't kick the can down the road, and we do. And life goes on. Are you saying that life is going to stop or what?
No, I don't think it's going to stop, but I think we're going to have to face the music just like the Greeks have had to do and Ireland has had to do.
But they're not happily accepting the music.
They're not happily accepting it, but on the other hand, they can't kick the can any longer. 2 years ago...
But the Greeks are already saying if this is what you call kick the can down the road, we're getting kicked in the can, and we might not want part of the euro. The euro dissolves. Then we've got a real mess, right?
Yeah, because look, the alternative is if they leave the euro, which is very likely and I think probably necessary, they will default on this huge amount, $400 billion.
So that's their problem, not ours. What do you say to people who say that?
When they default, it will be the signal to the sovereign debt market, the government debt market of the world, that governments can default, that they can't keep bailing each other out.
We've already known that through smaller governments.
But the markets don't believe it, okay? And Argentina...
So they haven't had their wake-up moment yet.
I think the wake-up moment is upon us. This is why the markets panic about Italian debt, which is 110%.
You leave the Italians alone, young man. So but the point is that you think, in other words, it does get worse.
Slowly, the wake-up call is coming, it is dawning, it is setting in.
Like
and
when?
It's happening right now. This is why there's so much volatility in the markets, day by day, week by week.
Well, didn't you read all those bullish Barron's analysts who said earnings are such that we're very positive?
Well, you know, of course, Wall Street touts, which is what most of those so-called analysts are trying to sell stock.
Well, you just alienate people left and right, don't you?
Well, look, they want to encourage you to buy
want to throw in the Catholic Church? Anyone else?
Well, you know, look, it is dangerous right now to own stock in this market.
So you wouldn't buy? What do you do?
Well, I think there's a reason why gold went over $1,900.
So you like gold?
Of course I do.
You don't like stocks?
I don't like stocks because
you like treasuries.
I don't like treasuries at all. It is absurd.
David Stockman has his money where?
Basically in cash and gold. It's the only safe place right now because these capital markets are all under tremendous stress as a result of the mess that we've got ourselves into fiscally and because of the absolute disaster that's come out of the Federal Reserve. The QE1, the QE2, the zero interest rates are destroying the capital markets. Remember,
so you're kind of in Rick Perry's camp that
well, I think
well, not necessarily treasonous, but that's not good.
I think he was right because after all, the interest rate is the price of money. In a capitalist economy, the price of money has to give an accurate signal. When the Fed steps in and artificially and wantonly just drives interest rates to zero, and manipulates the bond market through this huge amount of bond buying that they're doing, they're basically disconnecting the capital markets from reality and creating a totally
an even worse situation.
And as a result of that, everybody's getting the wrong signal. They're borrowing money to speculate overnight.
Compounding the problem. Compounding the problem.
And they're telling the politicians, well, really don't worry about this huge deficit in debt because you can borrow money for 3 years at 1%.
You can't blame them. The Fed has already said it will do so.
So why worry?
So finally, you had a come to Jesus moment with Ronald Reagan, and he did see some of the wisdom, what you were saying about watching the deficits, debt piling up, and he made some adjustments. If you were this president's budget director, what do you think the reaction would be with an updated version of what you told Ronald Reagan?
Well, he needs to set aside his ideological beliefs as well. That's what Ronald Reagan had to do when he signed these tax bills to
Well, I don't think he will.
And I don't think this president will. I think he's coming out with another $250 billion spending stimulus on Thursday night. It's exactly the wrong thing to do. We can't afford it. It's just going to drive the deficit.
So you'd be disappointed in that meeting, too. So he'd probably take it to the woodshed.
Probably would. But I don't know how this White House can believe, after last December signing this huge tax bill, $800 billion of added debt over a couple of years, supposedly going to stimulate and give the economy a real
And it hasn't happened.
What happened? The economy has not gone anywhere because the economy is suffering from a 30-year problem.
David Stockman, however, I'm glad we gave you the time. You deserve that. And whether you agree or disagree, occasionally we will do this on this show with people whose opinions matter, whose insight matter, and historically, whose judgments matter, like David Stockman. They deserve a half an hour to hash this out. After all, it's only our country, right?